Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Luffy ate dragon fruit and becomes Red Dragon, the movie. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I do not own this fanfic, and also make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, JAZZYJ09, and support him for writing this awesome fanfic. Link is in the description. Let's begin this story. We find a 5-year-old Luffy out in the jungle honing his. He started using it just after he turned 5. Damn. I'm almost able to direct it at a specific target, he said, as he surveyed the passed-out animals in front of him. He decided that 6 hours of practice was enough for today, so he started home. However, as he started out of the jungle, he spotted a red teardrop-shaped fruit with orange swirls on it. So he picked it up and inspected it. I wonder what kind of fruit this is. That's when his stomach growled. Well, I am hungry, so with it he ate the whole fruit. La. What the hell kind of fruit tastes that awful? He looked over at his left hand and started to panic. Where his hand used to be was magma in the shape of his hand. He started running in circles, shaking his hand. What the fuck? Get off, get off, get off. Wait a minute, it doesn't hurt. Luffy sent the feeling to his right hand and watched as it turned to magma too. Oh, this is gonna be fun. With that thought, Luffy continued on his way home. 2 years later, Luffy had met Shanks and his crew and befriended them during the time they were in Fuchsia village. We find the crew celebrating while Luffy and Shanks sit at the bar. Boy Shanks, when are you gonna take me with you guys? Luffy, you're too small to be a pirate, said a man with red hair and 3 scars over his left eye. No, I'm not, you bastard. You just know I will be stronger than you guys. Shanks stood up and faced Luffy. Alright, you want to come with us and knock me down on the ground. Shanks never saw the infused fist until it was too late. Luffy lands a solid right to his jaw, creating a crater with Shanks' face. Shanks got back up with a shocked look on his face. Everyone had stopped what they were doing as they watched the interaction between the two. Did he just ask a rather large man eating a piece of meat? This man is Lucky Roo. Yeah, he did, said a tall man who had a large rifle with him. This man is Ben Beckman. But how? Asked a man with a long nose. This of course is Yasop. However, just as Shanks was about to say something, mountain bandits burst into the bar. Pardon us. Oh, so these are pirates. Look pretty damn dumb, said the apparent leader of the group as he walked past Shanks and shouldered him out of his way. Welcome, said Makino. We're mountain bandits, but we ain't here to tear up the place. Sell us some booze. 10 barrels ought to do. I'm sorry, I just ran out of alcohol. That's odd. These pirates seem to be drinking something. What is it, water? No, what they're drinking is the last of it. That's when Shanks spoke up after grabbing his bottle. My apologies. Looks like we drank the whole place dry. Sorry. You can have this, if you'd like. It hasn't been opened yet. The bandit smashed the bottle with his fist, soaking Shanks. There's an 8 million Beely bounty on my head, you know. 1 bottle ain't even enough for a bedtime drink. Don't insult me. Shanks, however, was more focused on the mess. Now the floor is all wet. Sorry about that, Makino-san. Do you have a rag? He asked, as he began to pick up the pieces of the bottle off the floor. Oh, I'll do that, said Makino. The bandit took out his sword and smashed what was left on the bar on the floor. Seems you like to clean. Then maybe you'll find this more fulfilling. Not worth our time if they're out of booze. Let's go. Later, wimps, they said, as they walked out. During this, Luffy had knocked over the chest that contained the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which rolled behind the bar. He started gritting his teeth as he watched the crew do absolutely nothing. Makino walked over to Shanks, who was still sitting on the floor. Are you alright, Captain? Are you hurt? Oh, I'm fine. No problem at all. The entire crew busted out laughing. He got you good, boss, said Yasop. Talk about lame, said Luckier. Why are you laughing? That was so uncool. Why didn't you fight them? No matter how many there are or how strong they seem, you're not men or pirates if you laugh after something like that, shouted Luffy as he stood on his stool. I can understand how you feel, but he only spilled some booze on me. It's nothing worth getting mad over. Whatever. Luffy sat down and started eating some food he found. Eating out of frustration, Luffy. Shut up. That's when Shanks noticed the chest was flipped on its side. Wait, what are you eating? Luffy looked at him as if he had done something wrong. That box. Did you eat what was in that box? No. Shanks looked behind the counter and sighed in relief when he found the devil fruit. I wouldn't eat that anyway. A couple years back I ate one, and it tasted awful. This got Shanks' attention immediately. What? You've eaten a devil fruit? Yeah, see? Luffy got off the stool and turned both his arms into arms of magma. This of course got everyone's jaw to drop to the ground. Luffy went back to his normal self after he thought it was a good display. Luffy, when did you eat that? About 2 years ago. Why? You ate a Loja devil fruit, Luffy. The what? Asked Luffy as he scratched his head. The Loja allows the user to turn into the element of the devil fruit they ate. However, I am unfamiliar with the fruit you ate. Oh, that's easy. I called it the Maguma Maguma no Mi, said Luffy as he turned his whole body into magma before returning to normal. He's been practicing with it for 2 years. Their jaws dropped again. Haha, you're just full of surprises, aren't you, Luffy? With that the crew left to do whatever, leaving Luffy alone with Makino when the mountain bandits returned. The bandits were bad-mouthing Shanks and his crew, which infuriated Luffy. You see the looks on those pirates' faces. He got covered in booze, but didn't say a word. Talk about pathetic. Pirates are just a bunch of wimps. They're nothing but talk. Stop it. Stop making fun of Shanks and the others. They are not wimps. Stop, Luffy, said Makino, as she tried to hold Luffy back. Stop making fun of Shanks and the others. You stupid mountain bandits. The leader had had enough, so he grabbed Luffy and went outside, followed by the rest of the bandits. He threw him against a well and stomped on his face. Makino saw this and ran to get the mayor. People were drinking and having a nice time. What's the idea, boy? Damn it. Apologize. How dare you make fun of Shanks and his crew? Did I say something to offend you? Said the leader, as he increased the pressure on Luffy's face. You did. Now apologize, you fucking bastard. You ought to watch your mouth, boy. No one who's ever made me mad has lived to tell the tale, he said, as he grabbed his sword only to scream in pain. He looked down to see that his foot was destroyed by magma. What the fuck? Luffy stood up and glared at the bandits. I said for you to apologize, but no. You brought this upon yourselves. Makino and the mayor arrived at the scene to find a perfectly fine Luffy and charred ground. Luffy, where are the bandits? They wouldn't apologize, so I got rid of them, he said, as if it was nothing. That's when Shanks and his crew arrived. Boy, what's going on? Shanks knelt down and gripped Luffy's shoulders. Luffy, what happened? They wouldn't apologize for what they did to you, and they kept making fun of everyone. So I got rid of them. Sigh, Luffy, I'm glad that you defended our honor, but there are times when killing isn't always necessary. Luffy, I've decided to take you as my apprentice to the Grand Line. Luffy's eyes widened, and he smiled when he heard that. After Luffy was ready to go, they left Fuchsia Village. Luffy wouldn't start his journey for 10 years. A high-class passenger vessel was making its way along its course. Marines guarded the deck, the captain mingled with the high-paying passengers, and the richer side of society laughed, danced, and ate. It was a calm day, with barely a cloud in the sky, and the tides calm with no sign of a change. It was a perfect day for napping and having fun. 2 Marines were patrolling on the upper deck, chatting away when they noticed a barrel floating in the ocean. That caught their attention. Or, there's a wine barrel in the water. Let's get it. Who knows, there may be something good in it, one of them said. It's probably wreckage from whatever poor soul went through that whirlpool. Oh well, I agree, let's get it aboard, the other one said. So with it they cast out a line and hauled the barrel up to the deck with a bit of effort. Damn, this bitch is heavy. There better be some expensive wine in this thing, or I am going to be pissed. Their conversation died the instant the call came from the crow's nest, and the sound of cannon fire came from across the water. Pirates. It's the Alvida pirates. All men to battle stations, this is not a drill. I repeat, to all men to battle stations. This is not a drill. Every Marine on the deck instantly broke out into action, their training taking over, as Alvida continued her attack. On the deck of the pirate ship stood a woman. She was roughly the size of a cow, had freckles in all the wrong places, with black hair covered by a cowboy hat, and beady eyes. She held an iron mace almost as big as her, which she was currently using as a staff at the moment, with her crew arrayed around her. This was Iron Club Alvida, the woman worth 5 million Bili. Men, who's the fairest on all the seas? Alvida asked. Her crew yelled out, Alvida-sama. The woman grinned, revealing slightly ugly teeth, before yelling attack. Alvida stayed behind and watched the damage ensue, but noticed a little boy still on the ship. He had glasses and light pink hair. Kobe, she yelled, instantly getting a frightened reaction from the boy. Get the fuck over there now or say hi to my club, stated an angry Alvida, as she prepared to swing Kobe over to the boat with her club. The boy began to panic, and was talking far too fast to understand, and threw himself over to the other ship. He quickly made his way to the relative piece of the lower decks. Whew, that was close, that bitch almost got me, now I have to do something or she will kill me. Kobe started to look around for something he could actually lift, and could count, as swag. Kobe found a couple of barrels on the ship that Alvida's pirates attacked. He found out one of them was too heavy to move. I wonder what is in it, thought Kobe. He was brought out of his thoughts when 3 of Alvida's men walked in the room. Kobe, what the hell are you doing? Questioned one of the men. Kobe was too scared to answer him. Stupid kid. What's that barrel you got there? Asked the other man, as he was too tired to move it. What's wrong? Questioned the fat man. This thing is fucking heavy. This must be good rum, said the man with a smile on his face. Let's start drinking, said the other man. Kobe had a fearful look on his face. Alvida-sama will be angry. The fat man smiled at him. She wouldn't know unless someone tells her. Oh, and are you going to fucking tell her? Questioned the man. Kobe shook his head no in fear. Good. Now let's have some rum, said the fat man. Then all 3 of the pirates were about to open the barrel, but then out of nowhere a fist came out of the barrel, and knocked one of the men. What a great nap, yelled Luffy. Then he looked around, and pointed at the man he knocked out. Why is he sleeping? You punched him in the face, both the pirates yelled. Luffy gave them both a blank look. Who are you guys? That's what we were supposed to ask. They yelled. The pirates looked Luffy over to see how he was dressed, and attacked. Luffy however easily knocked them all out with a blast of his. Who are you? Asked a shocked Kobe. I'm Minky D. Luffy. You just attacked Alvida Sama's men. If she finds you, you're going to die, said a fearful Kobe. Don't worry, I think I can handle her, said Luffy. Kobe widens his eyes at him. Serious Luffy, it's best if you leave now. Alvida is a powerful pirate. Luffy shrugged his shoulders. Never heard of her. Kobe just sighed at him. Oh well, time to go. By the way, what's your name? Asked Luffy with a bored expression. My name is Kobe. Why do you want to know my name? Questioned Kobe. Luffy smiled. I'm looking for a crew, and I want you to be my first member. Kobe's jaw almost hit the floor. Are you crazy? I don't want to be a pirate, but I'm stuck here. Luffy raised an eyebrow. How come? Because Alvida scares me, and she will never let me leave, but one day I will leave. I will become an admiral of the Marines, yelled Kobe. Luffy grinned at him. Is that so? Well, I guess I can help you out. Let's leave this place behind. With that, Luffy started to leave with Kobe holding his legs, so that he could try and stop Luffy from getting himself killed. Luffy dragged him up to the deck of the ship. When Luffy and Kobe made it to the top of the deck, Alvida walked up to them. So you're the pirate hunter Zoro. You can't defeat me, said Alvida. First off lady, I don't know who the fuck Zoro is. Second, if I wanted to, I would not just defeat you, I would destroy you, came the cold response from Luffy. That's when Luffy got a good look at the woman and turned to Kobe. Hey Kobe, who is this ugly lady? Questioned Luffy as he pointed at Alvida. Everyone was shocked that Luffy just said that. Alvida raised her big iron club and hit Luffy on the top of his head, only for it to disintegrate as it passed through his body. She stepped back, dropping what was left of her club. What are you? I'm a magma man, but that's besides the point. You're the one holding Kobe from his dream. I can't allow that, he said in a calm manner. Luffy turned his arms into magma and shot out towards her remaining crew, killing them before returning back to normal. He turned back to face Alvida with a cold look on his face. Now what should I do with you? Well, you're not worth killing, so I guess I can just send you flying. Shishi. With that, Luffy sent to his fist and charged at the shaking woman. He reached her in no time, and with one swift punch sent her flying. He then turned to Kobe, whose jaw was on the deck. Now let's get a boat and get out of here. Shit. Luffy heard cannon fire and looked to the side to see some marine ships. Kobe, we gotta leave now. With that, they got in a boat and dropped to the ocean, creating waves. Luffy looked over to see an orange-haired girl in another boat staring at them, but he didn't have time to stay. So with that, Kobe and Luffy set off, leaving the girl on her own. So Luffy-san, where are we going? Well, we'll take you to the nearest town. Oh, that would be— wait, what do you mean we? Luffy took out a transponder snail. Oi, pick us up. Hi, Captain. Luffy smiled as he put the snail away. Kobe was still wondering who he was talking about when a ship came into view. As it got closer, Kobe saw it was painted with red and black stripes, and at the front was a red dragon figurehead. As they got on board, Kobe saw a dragon head-shaped entrance to the lower decks of the ship. On the sail was the Straw Hat Jolly Roger, only its bones were red. The skull was a weird thing though, it was a dragon's skull in red. Similar to Garp's ship, but a little smaller, and with a different theme. Welcome back, Captain. Luffy smiled and waved at his crew before he addressed Kobe. Welcome aboard Dorgan no HON001, Kobe. With this ship we shouldn't have any trouble seeing, as it's made out of atom wood. Captain, where are we headed? Asked a 10-6 gray fisherman known as Shade. Shade is a whale shark fisherman that looks like Jin. We are headed for the nearest town so we can drop off Kobe. Then we will find this pirate hunter Urano Zoro. Hi. With that, Luffy started to walk towards the dragon head cabin, but stopped. He turned around to see Kobe staring at Shade with fear. Boy Kobe, don't worry about Shade. You are a friend of mine, so he won't hurt you. And with that, they both entered. Luffy went to his cabin while Kobe went to a vacant one. They set off for the nearest town. After a while, Kobe came into Luffy's cabin to try and strike up a conversation. Luffy-san, earlier you mentioned something about you having a devil fruit. So is that how you were able to stay unharmed from Alvida's mace? Yeah, I used my devil fruit. Tell me Kobe, what do you know of the devil fruit? Not much was Kobe's response. Well Kobe, there are three main types of devil fruits. They are called Paramecia, Zone, Loja, and each of these have their own abilities. The Paramecia class gives the user a physical superhuman ability, and an example of this is the Gumo Gumo no Mi, which allows the user to stretch their body parts to attack someone from a distance or to block bullets by bouncing them back. Next is the Zone class, which gives the user the ability to transform into an animal, and gain that animal's abilities. For example, a person who could transform into a dog would gain all the senses of a dog. And finally, a Loja class fruit user can change their whole body into a specific element, which can make them nearly impossible to hit physically, and they can also regenerate their whole body, and control that specific element if necessary, and an example of this is my Maguma Maguma no Mi. So you ate a Loja type. That's so cool. Kobe looked over at Luffy, who was staring out his window. Hey Luffy-san, why did you become a pirate? Oh, that is an easy answer. I'm going to be king of the pirates. Kobe paled. Beep beep, but if you're aiming to be king of the pirates, that means you'll have to go to the Grand Line, right? Yes, that means I will be returning to the Grand Line. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, what do you mean return? It's dangerous to sail there. Most sailors die in those treacherous waters. They call it the pirates' graveyard for a reason, you know. When could you have possibly been there? Luffy cleaned out his ears. Damn Kobe, you don't have to yell. I went to the Grand Line before when I was an apprentice under my old captain. I know my way around some of the Grand Line and the New World. Besides only the weak pirates in the Grand Line. You know, those that can't cut it. Wait a minute. You've not only been to the Grand Line, but also the New World. Said a shocked Kobe on hearing where Luffy had been. So why are you in the East Blue? Well, I came back to East Blue to recruit some new strong crew members to go after One Piece. My first target is this famous pirate hunter Zoro. Do you happen to know where he is? He's being held by the Marines at Shelltown on some bogus charge, but if he's in prison he's a criminal. So, what do you think I am? Luffy left to go find Shade with Kobe in tow. Shade, where we are headed? I believe we are headed for a town called Shelltown. Okay, stay on course. About 2 hours later, Luffy and Kobe were on the deck when the island and town came into view. Also, that is Shelltown, the place where Zoro is being held. Stated, as the ship docked. Alright, you guys stay here while me and Kobe go find Zoro. Hi, Captain. With that, Kobe and Luffy headed into town. With Kobe and Luffy, as they were walking on the road, they passed people shopping at some stalls. Hey Luffy-san, it's not a very good idea to make him part of your crew. Well, other than being a criminal, I haven't decided if he's a good person yet. Sai Kobe, like I said earlier, you and I are friends, yet I will be considered a criminal one day. Do you think I am a bad person? Well, no. Then there you have it. Not everyone is what they're made out to be. Luffy stopped at a stall to buy a pear. I wonder if that Zoro is inside the base. Suddenly the people around him jumped back and started trembling. It seems that Zoro's name is taboo here. Whispered Kobe as they continued down the street. Anyways, let's head to the base. You want to join the Marines, right? Yes, but I'm not ready yet. I heard that Captain Morgan is in charge of that base. Again, people jumped away from the two, causing Luffy to laugh. This is a very interesting town. That's strange. I can understand Zoro, but why would they be scared of a captain? This really worries me. Maybe they just like to do that. I don't think so. They stopped seeing as they arrived at the gates to the Marine base execution field. Alright, this is it. I'm finally here. This is where we part, Luffy-san, even though it's only been a shorty sat with his face in his arm, but looked up to see Luffy hanging off the wall. Luffy-san, what are you doing? Where is that demon? He asked, searching for Zoro. He wouldn't be in a place like this. He's probably in an isolated cell deep inside. There he is. Luffy moved up the wall to get a better view, while Kobe climbed up next to him. See, that guy. He can't be here. That's when his eyes widened. There in the execution field was a man tied to some wooden posts. Black-cut waistband, that is Zoro. If we untied that rope, he could escape, right? Don't say stupid things like that. What do you think will happen if we let him go? I'm sure he'll kill you, Luffy-san. Hahaha, Kobe, you are forgetting I'm strong. Suddenly Zoro spoke, scaring the crap out of Kobe. Hey, you guys. You're bothering me. Get lost. Luffy-san, if you recruit a guy like him. Kobe, relax. Suddenly a ladder appeared next to Kobe, as a young girl climbed over the wall and lowered a rope into the execution field. Once she was in the execution field, she ran to Zoro. That's dangerous. Luffy-san, please stop her. She'll be killed. She stopped in front of Zoro. What? Aren't you hungry? I made you some onigiri. You're gonna be killed, shorty. Go away. The girl unwrapped the package she was carrying and presented the food to Zoro. You haven't eaten anything though. Here. This is my first time, but I made it with all my heart. I'm not hungry. You're annoying. Hurry up and go home. But I don't want any. Don't make me hurt you. Suddenly a gate opened as 3 people walked into the execution field. You shouldn't be bullying kids. Looks like you're still energetic, Zoro. Said an ugly blonde guy, Helmeppo, flanked by 2 Marines. And another weird guy appears, said Luffy as he watched. Thank goodness. They're Marines, so I'm sure that girl will be fine now. Hey, that onigiri looks pretty good. Said Helmeppo as he grabbed one of the onigiri. No? La. Nasty. It's full of sugar. Onigiri needs salt. Salt. But I thought it would taste sweeter. Helmeppo knocked the other onigiri to the ground and started stomping on it. Take that. Stop. Stop. What a horrible thing, Kobe said. The poor girl started crying. I tried to make it with all my heart. Helmeppo took out a poster from his coat. You haven't read this poster yet. Anyone who helps this criminal will be executed. Marine Captain Morgan Brat, you know who my father is, right? Father? Asked Luffy. Then he is Captain Morgan's son. Stated Kobe. Hey, toss this brat out. The Marine hesitated, so Helmeppo grabbed his collar. I'm telling you to toss her outside. Are you disobeying my orders? I'll tell my father. Yes. Right away. Little girl, I'm sorry for having to hurt you. The last party whispered as he grabbed the girl. Luffy dropped from the wall and ran away from it as the man threw the girl over the wall. Luffy caught her before she hit the ground. Thank you. Are you okay, Luffy-san? Are you hurt anywhere? What a horrible guy. Kobe asked the girl. Back in the execution field. You bastard. It seems like you're pretty stubborn, being alive still. Yeah, I will live through the entire month. Well, do your best. With that the three men began to leave. 10 more days left. Only if you live that long. After they were gone, Zoro looked back up to see Luffy standing in front of him. So you're what passes for a demon. You're still here. Being publicly humiliated. Are you really strong? Mind your own business. I would have escaped as soon as they left. I'm different from you. I will survive to show them. Definitely. Heh, what a stubborn guy. Luffy started to walk away. Wait a sec. He looked at the onigiri on the ground. Can you get that? Luffy picked it up. Are you really going to eat this? It's more of a dirt ball now. Shut up and give it to me. Luffy threw into Zoro's mouth and after chewing it coughed. Told you so. It was delicious. Thanks for the food. With that Luffy, Kobe, and the girl all left to go outside a restaurant back in town. Really? Yeah, he ate everything. I'm so happy. Is Zoro really an evil guy like they said? No? Well, he's in jail because of us. Huh? What do you mean by that? Asked Luffy. Everything is Helmeppo's fault. Captain Morgan's son. Flashback. Move, move. Clear the road for my cute pet. Anyone in their way will be executed. Yelled Helmeppo. That's when they entered the restaurant and the dog jumped onto a table and started eating someone's food. The little girl grabbed a broom and started to hit the dog. No? Stop it. Hey, you. Do you have a problem with my pet? Rika, stop it. You're going to get in trouble. Said the girl's mother. However, it was too late as the dog lunged at Rika. Only for a bar stool to crash into his skull. Then you gotta. Who did that? I won't let you go. He looks around to see Zoro sitting at the counter. Who the hell are you? You can be pirate hunter Zoro. He asks as he moved closer to Zoro. So what? Why the hell is a pirate hunter bothering the Marines? Let me eat in peace. Helmeppo drew his sword and slashed at Zoro, only for Zoro to dodge and kick the blade into the ceiling while punching Helmeppo in the face, sending him to the ground. You? Zoro drew his sword and touched Helmeppo's nose with it. You're annoying your pet too. Don't you understand? If my father finds out about this, those people will be executed. What do you think? Why don't we make a deal? Why don't you go to jail instead of them? Let's see for 1 month. If you survive for 1 month, I'll let you go too. How about it? 1 month, right? Zoro dropped his sword, allowing it to stab the floor, signifying the agreement. Then flashback. It's been 3 weeks. Helmeppo punches and kicks Zoro while he's tied there. Aye. So that's what happened, said Kobe. All conversation stopped as they heard dishes being smashed inside. So naturally they decided to check it out. Inside the restaurant, Helmeppo causing trouble. He had 2 Marines flanking him again. I'm hungry. We're all going to eat for free. Hey, hurry up and bring some alcohol. What's taking so long? Hurry up. Oh, that's right. Since I'm tired of waiting, I've decided to execute Zoro tomorrow. Look forward to it, everyone. Luffy was infuriated, so he charged at Helmeppo. He landed a solid punch to his face and took out the Marines before he knew what hit him. Who the hell are you? Luffy was about to beat the shit out of Helmeppo, but was stopped by Kobe. Luffy-san, stop it. He's trash. You hit me. I'm Captain Morgan's son. So what? You're lucky I didn't melt your ass. I'll tell my father and have you executed. Why don't you do something yourself? Luffy-san, calm down. You shouldn't make the Marines your enemy. I've decided, Kobe. I will have Zoro join me. Captain's office of Marine Base. We find a large man smoking a cigar and staring out the window with a Marine behind him. I am great. Yes. That is correct, Captain Morgan. But there hasn't been much tribute to me lately. The problem is that the income of our people has decreased. The problem is not having enough admiration for me. Isn't that right? That's when Helmeppo burst into the office. Father. There's a guy I want you to kill. Execution field. Zoro was having a flashback of his childhood. I made a promise. I can't die in a place like this. His eyes snapped open to see Luffy standing in front of him again. You again? You have too much free time. I'm going to untie the ropes, and you will become my comrade. What did you say? I'm looking for people to join my pirate crew. I refuse. You want me to be a bad guy? How annoying. What's wrong with being a pirate? Pirates are scum. Who would want to be one? Does it matter? You're known as an evil pirate hunter. I don't care what society says. I've never regretted doing anything. I will survive and do what I want to do. Is that so? But I've already decided that you will be my comrade. You can't decide that by yourself. You use a sword, right? Yeah, but that stupid son took them. I'll get it for you. Nani? So when I return your sword, you will become my comrade. I said no. But Luffy had already run to the edge of the base entrance. Alright, here I go. With that, Luffy turned into magma, and in a fountain of magma shot up the side of the building, crashing through a statue of Morgan. Roof of Marine building. We find about 14 Marines pulling up a huge statue of Morgan. Okay, hold it there. Make it stand in one pull. Yelled Morgan. Father. Why are you helping me get revenge? He punched me. He punched the face that even my father hasn't punched. The reason I have never punched you in the face. Do you know why? Well, that is because I'm here. That's right. Morgan spun and punched his son in the face. Not worth hitting. My worthless son. Don't misunderstand, the one who is your great father, in other words, me. It seems that there was an intruder in the execution field. That runt, I took care of her. You killed her, right? No, she is just a kid. Morgan pointed to a Marine. Hey you, go to the town and finish the job. But she is just a little girl, even if it's your order, Captain. He said. Morgan walked over and stopped in front of him. It doesn't matter if it's a kid. Anyone who disobeys my order is a traitor. But I can't. Morgan slammed the back of his axe hand into his head, knocking him out. You didn't have to go that far. I became a captain because of this arm. Listen. A title is everything in the world. I'm the best captain at this base. That means I am the greatest person. That's why everything I do is right. Isn't that correct? Yes. That is correct. They all shouted in unison. I'll take care of the kid later. Look, it took many months, and it's finally done. This is the symbol of my power. Now, put it up. Raise it on the highest point here to show my greatness. He shouted while looking at his statue. However, that's when something crashed through the upper half of the statue and landed on the roof. The object turned out to be Luffy. Capture that guy. I will kill him. Yes. Right away. Father. This is the guy who punched me. Hey, it's you. I was looking for you. Come with me. I need something to be returned. And with that, Luffy took off, dragging Helmeppo. Helmeppo-sama. After them. Don't let him escape. Captain. There's someone in the execution field. Nani? More traitors just keep appearing. With Luffy and Helmeppo. Where's Zoro's sword? I'll tell you, so stop dragging me on the floor. It's in my room. We just passed it. So Luffy backtracked to where Helmeppo pointed only to look down and see him pass out. Luffy went into the room and found 3 swords, but didn't know which were Zoro's. So he just grabbed all 3 and looked out the window and paled. There was a shooting squad aiming at Zoro and Kobe. He burst through the window and made it in front of them with his arms raised just in time. Execution field. We find Kobe trying to untie Zoro. Escape, Zoro-sen. If you do that, you'll be killed. I can't stand by and watch these Marines anymore. I want to be a good Marine. Stop. I can't run away. 10 more days left. You will be executed tomorrow. Nani? Helmeppo never intended to keep his promise. That's why Luffy-san got mad and punched Helmeppo. Luffy-san is being chased by the Marines right now. I'm not telling you to become a pirate, but please, Luffy-san is the only one who can save Zoro-san. Hold it right there. By the treason you have committed against me, you will both be executed right here. They looked up to see the firing squad and Captain Morgan. You guys did some interesting things. Do you and that guy with the straw hat intend to start a revolution? I've always fought my battles alone, unlike you hiding behind your troops and creating chaos. Yelled Zoro. Urano Zoro, don't underestimate me. Your skill, compared to my strength, is nothing. Aim. Fire. The bullets soared towards Kobe and Zoro, but hit Luffy, who appeared between them. Everyone there was shocked that he jumped in front of the bullets. However, they were even more shocked when Luffy's body was undamaged. Whew, looks like I made it just in time. You what the hell are you? I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm the man who will become the Pirate King. W what? Become the Pirate King. Do you understand what you're saying? The Pirate King is the Pirate King, what else could it mean? He said to Zoro. I was surprised too, but, as you can see, Luffy-san is serious. That's the kind of person he is. He will become the Pirate King, and find the ultimate treasure, One Piece. Here, your sword. Which one is it? I couldn't tell, so I grabbed all 3. All 3 are mine. I use 3 swords. You'll take them, right? But if we fight together, you'll owe me. Being killed by Marines or coming with me, which one do you pick? You're the son of the devil. Fine. I'd rather be a pirate than die here. Now set me free. With the Marines. What is that guy? The bullets were useless. The guy with the straw hat isn't a normal human. It seems that he ate one of the devil's fruits, said Morgan. Devil's fruit. Treasure of the ocean. Without a doubt, that straw hat's power is the power of the devil's fruit. It doesn't matter who he is. Those who oppose me will be executed. The Marines charged at them while Luffy was struggling with the knots. To hell with this. He used his powers to burn through the ropes just in time. The charging Marines were stopped by Zoro's swords. Move, and you die. I promise to be a pirate. Opposing the Marines will make me a wanted man. However, I'll tell you one thing. I will always follow my own ambitions. Ambitions? To become the world's greatest swordsman. If you do anything that would cause me to abandon my ambitions, you will end your own life on my sword. The world's greatest swordsman. That's good. As the Pirate King's comrade, I wouldn't expect any less from you. Ha, indeed. It doesn't matter if it's a devil or saint. My name will be heard all over the world. With that, Zoro defeated the Marines he was blocking with some precise quick slashes. No, he didn't kill them. Not bad, there is potential there, thought Luffy, as he kicked his right leg up into the air without turning around, and nailed Morgan square in his jaw, sending him flying through the wall of the base. That's not very sportsmanlike to attack an opponent from behind. Come now, let me show you my devil fruit. Enjoy. MAGUMASUPIA3. Luffy threw the magma which pierced Morgan's heart, killing him instantly. Really, is it? Well, that was boring. What are you? Asked Zoro. I ate Maguma no Mi. The injured Marines got to their feet, and with the other Marines were shocked. They defeated Captain Morgan. I can't believe it. If anyone still wants to fight us, come now, said Zoro. In response to this, the Marines threw whatever they had into the air, celebrating. Alright, they did it. Yahoo! Suddenly Zoro collapsed onto his back. What's the matter, Zoro-san? Are you injured? I'm hungry. So naturally they went to the restaurant where Rukia worked. I'm full. That meal was worth not eating for 3 weeks. It's good, right, Kobe? Kobe rubbed the back of his head. I'm sorry, I helped myself too. It's alright, you helped save our town, said Rukia's mother. So how many shipmates do we have? I remember you saying that you were looking for crew members. To become the Pirate King, you probably have a crew already. Let's see, including you, 22, but you are the first mate. That works for me. That's when the Marines walked in. Excuse me. Is it true that you guys are pirates? Yep, I just found a new comrade. We're pirates. We are very grateful that you saved us from the clutches of Morgan. However, now that we know you are pirates, we can't look the other way. You must leave this town immediately. We owe you our lives, so we will not contact headquarters. Hey Marine. What the hell are you talking about? You guys were also controlled by Morgan, shouted a man. Those guys saved all our lives, said a woman. Right, said the citizens in unison. Well, shall we go? Thanks for the food. Are you guys leaving already? Asked Rukia. Luffy nodded and started to leave with Zoro. Are you their comrade? Just a minute, is he with you? I know all about this guy. Luffy-san, you wouldn't. There was a huge pirate lady that looked like a duck. Luffy-san. If they find out that I was on a pirate ship, I wouldn't be able to join the Marines. She had this big club. She was one ugly-looking old hag. This guy served that female pirate for 2 years. Kobe couldn't take it anymore and started fighting with Luffy. Stop this at once. I will not allow you to disturb the peace of this town. Hey, that's enough, said Zoro as he grabbed Luffy. It's clear that he's not with you. Leave our town now. Luffy grinned and left with Zoro, leaving Kobe with the Marines. He did that on purpose. I want to join the Marines. I'll do anything you want to become a Marine. Commander. I'm against it. I can't trust it yet. It's possible that he's a spy for the pirates. First, we have to run a background check on you. I sincerely want to be a Marine. The commander saw the determination on his face. We have lost many Marines to the pirates. The life of a Marine is not an easy one. Permission to join, granted. Kobe saluted the man, then ran for the docks. Luffy and Zoro. That was really something back there. They might find out about it though. I'm sure Kobe can handle the rest. Well, that was a good experience. Everyone will hate us from now on. The life of a pirate. They boarded the Dorgan no. Luffy-san. They turned to see Kobe standing at the dock. Thank you very much. This Marine will never forget you, he said with a salute. I've never heard of a Marine thanking a pirate before, said Zoro. We'll meet again, Kobe, shouted Luffy as they left. The Dorgan no Hanu. Luffy called for everyone to the deck. Alright everyone, this is Zoro. He will be our new first mate. Cheers rang out. Settle down. Go back to work except for Shade. Shade, where is the closest island? Well Captain, as you know we don't have that much navigational skills. However, if I had to say, I would say Organ Islands. There should be a town there called Orange Town. Then set a course for it. Hi, Captain. Just a few more members, and then, it's back to the Grand Line. As the Dorgan no Hanu made its way through the ocean, it came across 3 pirates floating in the middle of the ocean. So Luffy, being the nice guy he was, stopped and picked them up. So, what were you guys doing in the middle of the ocean? Well, our boat was stolen by some orange-haired bitch. One shouted. None of you have any signs of a fight, so how did she get your boat? They all looked down in shame before one of them answered. Well, you see, she had a treasure chest on board, and being pirates we were automatically drawn to it. She looked dead tired, so we went over to check it out, but it turned out to be a fake. That's when we turned around to see her sailing off with our boat. Before we could give chase, a storm appeared out of nowhere, destroying the boat. What pirate crew are you guys with? We are part of the Boogie Pirates. Luffy gave a somewhat sinister smile. Well then, that's all I needed to know. Goodbye. Luffy's hand shot forth over the tops of their heads, and encased their heads in magma. Think of Caribou's attack on fake Sanji. This of course killed them instantly. Luffy then had some of the crew throw them over the rails of the ship. Or Luffy, would you kill them? Asked Zoro. They were too weak-minded to even see past some thief's little plot. If you are too weak, you don't have the right to be a pirate. Orange Town. Nami had been running from 3 of Boogie's men after she stole a map to the Grand Line. Boy girlie, come back here. Yeah, just give us back the map, and your death won't be too painful. Damn it. Stop already, you little bitch. Hurry up. I don't want Captain to kill me. Nami glanced back to see how far they were from her, but as she turned around she ran into Luffy, Zoro, and Shade. Shade is wearing a cloak that conceals his entire body. Earlier with Luffy and crew, the Dorigen had just docked. Alright, me, Zoro, and Shade will go into town to see if we can find a navigator. Do not cause any trouble while we are gone. With that the three left to explore the town. However, as they started walking they noticed something was off. Where is everyone? Asked Zoro. Suddenly they heard shouting from a couple streets over, so they decided to investigate. Present, the girl looked up to see three figures in front of her, and got an idea. Hey boss. Would you mind handling those guys for me, thanks? She shouted, as she tapped Luffy's shoulder, and ran off. So she must be the thief that those pirates were talking about earlier. Thought Luffy. Or get out of her way, you bastards. No, didn't you hear her? That kid in the suit is her boss, let's get him. They agreed, and the three charged. Shade, will you please handle the small fry? Just as the pirates got close enough a force sent them through a wall of one of the houses. After which Nami appeared on top of a roof before jumping down to the streets. Damn, you guys are strong. Who are you? Asked Luffy. I'm a thief that robs pirates. My name is Nami. Hey, why don't you guys join me? We'll pass. And with that the three started walking away. Hey, wait a minute. Can't we at least talk about this? She shouted as she chased after them. Fine, we'll listen to you if you tell us about what has happened to this town. Deal. Now let's get out in the open. She said as she led them to a house. With Buggy, we find Buggy in his tent set up on top of the bar. You haven't caught the thief yet. I just got back, the Pirates 3, 6, and 2 are on it, Captain Buggy. Said a random crew member. Why on earth was the map stolen so easily? We were just about to enter the Grand Line to show off our power. Well, Captain, the discussion for placing the storage key was skipped. What did you say? Well, the conversation was skipped. Said the man, as he rubbed the back of his head. However, Buggy heard something entirely different. He dares to skip my nose. Do you want me to wear a mask to cover this nose? So you can just skip it? Shouted Buggy, as he got in the man's face. You misunderstood me. The man said, as he started sweating bullets. It's red, and very large. Save me. The man said, as he started to back away. The rest of the crew there were panicking. It's going to happen. The power of the devil's fruit. Suddenly the man was lifted off the ground by his throat. Who am I? Captain Buggy. The man wheezed out, as Buggy brought his hand back to his body with the man. What happens to people who don't listen to me? Death awaits. Please forgive me. I wouldn't say anything like it again. Please forgive me. Buggy let the man drop to the ground. I will forgive you this time. Just go get the map back, or else. You understand? He asked, as he walked back into his tent. Hi, Captain Buggy. The crew shouted. Back at house, Nami had filled the three in on what Buggy and his crew had been doing to the town. Do you live here? Asked Zoro. I don't live in this town. The locals were afraid of Buggy, so they ran away. Then you're breaking and entering. Said aboard Luffy. I'm a thief that robs pirates. Don't compare me to someone that breaks and enters. But a thief is a thief, right? Asked Luffy in a sarcastic tone. I will earn 100 million, no matter what. What are you going to do with that much money? Asked Shade. Secret. If you have a map to the Grand Line, 100 million isn't a dream. The word map stuck out for Luffy. Map? Are you a navigator? My skills are much better than any other navigators. The three pirates looked at each other and nodded. You should join my crew, said Luffy. You guys wouldn't happen to be pirates, would you? Of course we are. Then my answer is no. I hate pirates more than anything else in this world. I like money and oranges. Well, if you like money, how about I help you get Buggy's treasure and you come join us? That instantly changed her mind. If you help me get that treasure, I will consider a temporary partnership. Then let's go save a town and get you some money. Just as they were about to leave, a huge explosion rocked the ground. What the hell was that? Asked Zoro. That didn't sound like a buggy ball, said Nami. Buggy ball? Asked Shade. Yeah, it's a special cannonball Buggy developed that causes massive damage when it's fired, but that explosion sounded different. Let's go check it out, said Luffy, as the four left. But Buggy the clown. What the hell do you mean my men are unconscious? Shouted an enraged Buggy. Well, Captain, they were. However, Buggy interrupted him. I don't fucking care what happened to them, I want my goddamn map back now. Shouted Buggy. All of a sudden Buggy's men started to drop like flies with foam coming out of their mouths. Oh no, user, where are they? Thought Buggy, as he started to sweat. That's when Buggy saw four figures walk out of an alley, three of which were struggling to stay standing. So that's him, huh? I will have to watch myself around him, thought Buggy. Kabaji, Moji, get ready for a fight. They both nodded, as they were still conscious. Earlier with Straw Hats. However, when you are going to feel a pressure against you, don't worry about it, though it won't be directed at you. They all nodded, then began to feel whatever it was that Luffy was talking about. With that they made their way down the alley. Present. Good afternoon. I am assuming that you with the large nose is Captain Buggy. You fucking bastard, what did you do to my men? Oh, don't worry, they are just unconscious. Now get your ass down here so I can kick it. Who do you think you are? Moji took him down. Moji jumped down and rushed towards Luffy. Just as he got within reach of Luffy, Shade appeared next to him. He sent a punch that smashed into Moji, creating a crater in the ground and effectively knocking him out. Nami squatted down to poke Moji in the cheek and smiled. Well, you guys seem to have everything under control, so I'm going to go get the treasure. Luffy just nodded as she snuck off. Shade, did you kill him? Shade turned towards Luffy and shrugged his shoulders. I don't think so. However, just as he finished answering, Zoro jumped in front of the two with his swords out, blocking Kabaji's sword. Since you are a swordsman, I will take you, said Zoro, as he pushed back Kabaji. Insert Zoro versus Kabaji, but without Zoro being injured. Looks like you're all alone, Boogie. However, Boogie didn't hear Luffy, due to the fact that he saw Nami with his treasure. He jumped down to the ground, furious that these four were making a fool out of him. Where the hell do you think you're going with my treasure? He shouted, as his upper body separated from his legs, and shot off towards Nami. However, he didn't get too far thanks to Luffy's foot. Nutshot. Boogie stopped dead in his tracks due to the sheer amount of pain he felt. His body reassembled and started rolling on the ground. This of course also caused Zoro and Shade to wince. After a minute, Boogie stood up. You bastard, that was a cheap shot. What did you expect? I'm a pirate, said Luffy with a smile. Luffy raised his hands in the form of guns. Now dance, clown. Magumagattering HM1. Boogie started dodging the magma as the barrage of magma came flying at him. Shishishi, I like you, Boogie, you're funny. Unfortunately, it's time to send you packing, so bye. With that, Luffy sent a punch into Boogie, sending him flying. Luffy turned back towards the others and smiled. So, let's get going. However, just as he took one step, an explosion took out the building next to him. Out of the rubble came a man in a yellow striped suit with a marine coat draped over his shoulders. Luffy instantly tensed when he saw the man. What the hell are you doing here? He thought. Oi, who the hell are you? Shouted Zoro. Oh, I am Admiral Kazare. What did you expect? I'm a pirate, said Luffy with a smile. Luffy raised his hands in the form of guns. Now dance, clown. Magumagattering HM. Boogie started dodging the magma as the barrage of magma came flying at him. Shishishi, I like you, Boogie, you're funny. Unfortunately, it's time to send you packing, so bye. With that, Luffy sent a punch into Boogie, sending him flying. Luffy turned back towards the others and smiled. So, let's get going. However, just as he took one step, an explosion took out the building next to him. Out of the rubble came a man in a yellow striped suit with a marine coat draped over his shoulders. Luffy instantly tensed when he saw the man. What the hell are you doing here? He thought. Oi, who the hell are you? Shouted Zoro. Oh, I am Admiral Kazare. Present. Luffy was just staring in shock at the fact that one of the Navy's admirals was here in the East Blue. You guys need to run, like now. This is going to get bad, said Shade, as he saw how Luffy reacted to the admiral. Wait a minute. You just want to leave him alone against the Navy admiral, said Nami. Zoro was just looking at Luffy when he understood whatever was not being said. Let's get to the ship, said Zoro. Luffy turned his head and smiled. Don't worry, I'll be fine. With that, the crew took off for the docks. During this, Kazare was cleaning his ear out with his pinky. Oh? Where do they think they are going? He said, as he turned into light and launched after them, but was stopped by a wall of magma. MAGUMAMRU1. Shouted Luffy, as magma shot out of his body, creating a wall, blocking Kazare's path. I don't know what you're doing here, but you are dealing with me, not them. Oh ho. So you are the one that red-haired Shanks took on, as an apprentice. Now I can stop searching for you. What is your name? Luffy shrugged off his coat. My name is Minky D. Luffy, and I take it that you have been sent to bring me in. Not exactly. You see, I heard about one of the Yonkou taking an apprentice on, so I came to see how strong you are. If you fail my test, then I will bring you into custody. As soon as Kazare finished, he started shooting beams of light at Luffy. Luffy started dodging, and returned fire with magma. You're gonna have to bet blah. Luffy didn't finish, as Kazare flashed right in front of him, and hit him with a punch that caused Luffy to cough or spit. You're letting your guard down. Such a disappointment. Sai, looks like I'll be taking you. Kazare was launched into the air courtesy of an uppercut by Luffy. Luffy then sent Kazare crashing through about 6 houses with a kick. Damn, that shit kinda hurts. Well, as much as I would love to continue our little scuffle, I have places to be. Luffy drew back his right arm. Tried this on for Sai's asshole. DKUDORAGON2. His arm shot forward, making contact with Kazare. With that, Luffy picked up his coat and took off towards the docks, but was stopped when Kazare appeared in front of him with blood coming out of his mouth. Did you really think I would go down that easily? He said, as he kicked a ball of light through Luffy's chest, which reformed. I was hoping it would have kept you down long enough to get away. Suddenly Kazare disappeared and started to attack Luffy. After a couple of punches and a few kicks, Kazare sent a hard kick into Luffy's gut, which sent him through some buildings, as well as coughing up blood. Luffy got back up and spitted out some blood. Now that was a nice kick. Now I'm gonna put you down, said Luffy, as they both disappeared and started trading blows. After about 5 minutes of fighting, Luffy got in a shot that sent Kazare flying. Beat this? Dorgan, Bureizu 3. he shouted as he drew back his arm and shot the magma arm forward. Luffy didn't wait to see if Kizaru was down and took off for the docks once again. This time he made it to the docks where the others were waiting. "Looks like you had fun," said Zoro. "Look, leave some for the townsfolk so they can rebuild. Now let's get out of here before he comes back." Shade nodded and left about 250,000 on the docks in a sack as they boarded the ship and set off. With Kizaru. Kizaru walked out of the rubble with a bloody body. "Interesting, I think I'll name you Red Dragon Luffy," he said as he walked off to return back to Marineford. Oregon no Hanu. Luffy was sitting in his chair in his cabin. He was reflecting on what fighting an admiral really meant. "So, Marineford knows about me. Damn it," he thought as Shade entered his cabin. "Captain, Oregon Islands are out of sight, sir." "Thank you, Shade. That will be all." But Shade didn't move. "Are you alright, Captain?" Sigh. "Pretty soon I am going to have a bounty now that Marineford knows about me. I didn't want to be known around the world just yet. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I need you to come back with Zoro and Nami." Shade nodded and went to get Nami and Zoro. After a couple minutes Nami, Shade and Zoro walked in. "Nami, I would like to introduce you to Zoro and Shade." Zoro gave her a chen while Shade took off his cloak, causing Nami to pale. Shade stuck out his hand. "Hello, Nami." She didn't shake his hand, so he pulled it back. "That's okay. I'm used to getting that reaction, but I am quite nice once you get to know me. That will be all. I just want to introduce Nami to you guys." With that they took their leave, leaving Nami and Luffy alone. "Don't worry about Shade, Nami. I didn't mean to be rude, it's just the first time for me to see a fisherman." "You're hiding something, Nami," thought Luffy, but he decided he wouldn't press the matter. "Nami, I need you to navigate us to Gecko Islands." "Of course." "Then set a course for Syrup Village located there." "Hi. I wonder how your son turned out, Yasip." Syrup Village. A teenage boy was running through the village shouting pirates. Pirates are attacking the village. And then took off running. It had been 2 days since the encounter with Kizaru. We find the crew relaxing on the deck. "I didn't think they would actually send an admiral after me this early," thought Luffy as he stared out at the sea. He was so focused that he didn't see Nami approach him. "When are you gonna pay me?" "Sigh," said Luffy as he threw a couple thousand beely at her, causing her to smile. Nami was about to walk away but was stopped by Luffy. "Nami, have you ever met a fisherman before?" That question caused her to sweat slightly. "No. Shade is the first one I've ever met," she said, lying through her teeth hoping he would believe her. "Don't lie to me, Nami. When most people meet Shade they are afraid of him. You, on the other hand, showed hatred when you didn't even know him." She wasn't as lucky as she hoped. Nami, knowing she was caught, decided to just be upfront. "It doesn't matter if I know him or not. They're all the same, bloodthirsty and evil." Luffy's mood changed instantly as he became more serious. "How would you know, Nami?" "I know because my home island has been under the control of the Arlong pirates. They're fishermen that came from the Grand Line 8 years ago. It's because of them I became a thief. I'm only a thief because once I get 100 million I can buy back my village from them. I've seen what they are capable of, so tell me why I should believe that Shade is different." She didn't know why she told him all of this, but she felt like she could trust him. Luffy looked her dead in the eye. "Because if Shade was like this Arlong, I would have killed him when I first met him. You think I would allow someone like that on my crew? I can understand why you think what you do, but at least give Shade a chance. He's a good friend to have on your side any day." With that Luffy walked off into his cabin, leaving Nami to think about what had just happened. One day later, after another day at sea, they arrived at the Gecko Islands where Syrup Village was located. Luffy turned to address his crew. "Zoro, Nami, and I will go ashore to find our newest member. While we are gone, Shade is in charge." With that the three jumped into a small boat and paddled to shore. When they finally reached the land they jumped onto the ground. Almost instantly Zoro was on edge. He had his hand on his sword when he decided to speak up. "Boy Luffy, there's someone here." "I know." That's when a barrage of rocks came flying at them. A few minutes earlier, "Yusuf, there are pirates coming to our island. They are in a boat, and it looks like there are 3 of them," said a boy with square glasses. "Are you sure?" "I mean, you could be imagining things," said a shaking Yusuf. "No, I saw them, as clear as day." "What are we going to do, Captain Yusuf?" asked the boy with the red bandana on his head covering his purple hair. "Yeah, Captain, what should we do?" questioned the last boy who had on what appeared to be a green hat. Yusuf snapped his fingers and said, "I got it. We scare him." The boy's face fainted. "Well, I don't see you coming up with any better ideas, so come on." And with that they made their way to the pirates. Present, Luffy just stopped the rocks with a blast, then a row of pirate flags shot up out of the bushes. "Oi, they can't be serious," thought a sweat-dropping Luffy and Zoro. After that a teenage boy appeared out of the bushes with a slingshot pointed at Luffy. "I am the great pirate Captain Yusuf. Me and my crew of 8,000 men have taken over this island. Leave now or we will destroy you," said a bluffing Yusuf. Luffy decided to mess with him. "Oh, you think that I should be scared of you? I bet you have never killed anyone before, have you?" Luffy asked while walking forward with his hands in his pockets. Yusuf flinched. "Ah, you haven't? Well, I suggest you put that weapon down because it's not a toy, as you seem to see it as." Or I can make you just another number in my book of people I've killed. Your choice, said Luffy. Yusuf seemed to be struggling with himself, but after 15 seconds he dropped to his knees panting. Then he heard laughter, and looked up to see Luffy and Zoro laughing. Yusuf, if I was going to kill you, I would have done it before you fired those rocks at us. Now I need to talk to you, seeing as you're the son of a man named Yasip. Yusuf fell down the hill and landed on his back. How do you know my dad? Asked an eager Yusuf. Me and I were crewmates with Shanks. But let us continue this over food, seeing as me and my crew are hungry. They all began to follow Yusuf when Nami spotted a manor on a hill. She would have to ask him about it later. At the restaurant, we find Yusuf and the Straw Hats seated at a table enjoying their meal. After everyone had filled their stomachs, Luffy began to tell Yusuf about how his dad never shut up about him. I mean, honestly, I feel like I know you already from how much he talked about you, said Luffy as he leaned back in his chair. Wow, so my dad is a member of Shanks' crew, said a happy Yusuf. Yup. So how about it, Yusuf? Would you like to join my crew? Yusuf thought about it and nodded. Yes, I would like to sail as a pirate. However, before I leave, I have to say goodbye to Lady Kaya. I'm guessing that that's who lives in the mansion on the hill, said Nami, to which Yusuf nodded. The only problem is the butler Karahatal. He doesn't like it when I sneak in to see Kaya because she's usually ill. Then I will go with you, and if he should try something, I'll deal with him. You guys, don't cause any trouble while we're gone, said Luffy as he left with Yusuf. At the mansion, when Luffy and Yusuf arrived at the mansion, Yusuf snuck off to go and saw Kaya leaving Luffy at the front door. So Luffy knocked on the door, and when it opened he instantly frowned. He didn't like the vibe this guy was giving off. You should know what Karahatal looks like. Yes, may I help you? Asked the man. Yes, who are you exactly? Asked Luffy. I am Karahatal. Why? Oh, so you are the one that has been causing Yusuf trouble when he visits, said Luffy as he narrowed his eyes at Karahatal. Karahatal's mood changed from friendly to a cold hard gaze. That boy is nothing but trouble for Lady Kaya. She needs her rest, and he gets her too excited with his lies. I'm here to tell you to leave him alone, because he will be leaving with me today. Understood, said Luffy as he directed some of his at Karahatal. Karahatal just nodded before closing the door. Luffy went to get Yusuf. Yusuf had just finished telling Kaya about how he was a brave warrior of the sea, and how he survived against a giant goldfish. This is the scene that Luffy came upon. Boy, Yusuf, aren't you going to introduce us? Kaya, this is Monkey D. Luffy, and Luffy, this is Kaya, Yusuf said as he gestured to both. Good afternoon, Miss Kaya, I do hope you are feeling alright. The way Yusuf tells it is that you are often ill. Thank you for asking, Luffy-san. I am doing okay today. Although I am feeling better thanks to Yusuf's stories. Yusuf hid his blush. Well, Miss Kaya, I don't know if Yusuf has told you yet, but Yusuf will be coming with me. Kaya turned to Yusuf with tears in her eyes. Is that true, Yusuf? Are you really leaving? Yusuf wiped the tears from her face. It'll be alright, Kaya. Just wait and see, I'll be a brave warrior of the sea. Then I will come back, said a smiling Yusuf. You promise? Of course. Then I wish you the best of luck, Yusuf, she said as she dried her eyes and smiled. I take it you are ready, Yusuf, said Luffy. Yusuf nodded, and with that they took their leave. With the Straw Hats, Luffy and Yusuf arrived back at the restaurant after a short walk back. We are leaving, said Luffy as Zoro and Nami nodded. With that they headed back for the boat, only to stop in the tracks when they reached the coast. A pirate ship had landed on the beach, and the crew was preparing to raid the village. On top of the pirate ship was the skull of a cat for a pirate flag. Luffy was not going to allow this, so he turned to his crew. Are you guys ready for a fight? They nodded. Good, even though this won't be a long fight. Luffy walked forward towards the advancing pirates. He stopped and raised his arms. Nagumaha, Luffy said, as he sent a wave of magma, destroying the advancing pirates. Before any more fighting started, Karahatal arrived at the scene. Only this time he was wearing his cat claws. Karahatal, what are you doing here? Asked Luffy, but he had already guessed what the answer was. I am here to see that my crew can complete their task of raiding the village, while I get Miss Kaya to sign over her fortune to me. Also, my name is not Karahatal, it's Kuro. Ah, I know you. You are called Kuro of 100 Plans, captain of the Black Cat Pirates. How about a one-on-one fight, just so you don't lose all of your crew? Said Luffy. Kuro remembered how he felt when he first met Luffy, and agreed. With that he walked over to his crew. Django, you're up, said Kuro. Django walked forward until he was about 10 feet away from Luffy. I don't feel like describing Django. Nami, you're up, and make it quick, said Luffy, as he walked back towards the group, passing Nami, as she headed towards Django. Nami versus Django. Oh, I get to fight the pretty lady, said a smiling Django. After a few seconds Django pulled out his chakra, and threw it at Nami. Nami sprang forward, ducking under the chakram, and reaching Django. She swung her staff, but had to dodge a kick, so she flipped backwards just as Django's chakram returned to him. You are pretty quick with that staff, said Django. Let's see you dodge this. He threw the chakram again, but with greater speed. This time Nami couldn't dodge it, and was struck on her arm. She decided to use it to her advantage, and covered her arm even though there was just a little cut. She then gave him a pout. "I can't believe you cut me. You are so mean." Django, being weak-willed, rushed over to her with some gauze. "Here, let me help you." Then bam, his face met Nami's staff, and was sent smashing into the top of Kuro's ship unconscious. "I can't believe how much a fucking idiot you are, ha 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 ha. Oi Luffy, I'm finished. Was that quick enough for you? I was hoping you would have finished him sooner, but it will do," said Luffy. Nami smiled, and walked back to her original spot. "Oi Kuro, I hope that wasn't the best you got," yelled aboard Luffy, who somehow found a barrel to sit on. This caused a few brave members to attack Luffy. "Oi Usopp, take them out for me, will ya?" asked Luffy. They were instantly struck down by Usopp's slingshot. Luffy didn't bother to turn around, but gave him a thumbs up. "Oi Zoro, why don't you take your turn? I am starting to get bored again," said Luffy, slightly on edge. There was no sign of acknowledgement. "Oi, someone wake his ass up," yelled Luffy. Nami hit him upside the head, which woke him up. "Oi easy, is it my turn yet?" "Yes, hurry up," said an agitated Luffy. Zoro nodded, and took off his bandana, and tied it around his head. Now that he was ready, he walked to the center. "Zoro versus Naiban brothers, I thought they were weird, so I. You should know what they look like." "So who am I facing?" asked Zoro. "Bachi and Sham Europe, do not fail me," said Kuro. Suddenly 2 men resembling cats appeared in front of Zoro, both swiping at his torso, but luckily he was able to dodge. "Damn, they're quick. I have to end this quickly, otherwise they will trap me," thought Zoro, as he drew his swords and readied himself. Zoro and the brothers were in the middle of a stare down when suddenly they split up and went different directions. Then Buchi swiped at Zoro's head, but Zoro blocked. However, Sham appeared and slashed his stomach. Zoro, distracted by Sham, was suddenly caught up by Buchi and fell on the ground. Zoro, panting, struggled to get back up. "Oi Zoro, stops playing around and ends them already," cried Luffy from the sideline with his hat on his back now. Zoro nodded and stood up to his full height and nodded. Zoro got ready for his attack, and when Buchi and Sham were close enough, only GIRI2, and with that put the Naiban brothers out of commission. Zoro sheathed his swords, took off his bandana, and tied it back around his arm, and walked back to his original spot under a tree shaded from the sun. Luffy versus Kuro. "Alright, about time. Kuro, I don't feel like playing with you, so don't waste my time," said Luffy, as he walked forward, and placed his straw hat back on his head with it shadowing his face. When he reached a good spot, he put his hands in his pockets. Kuro had already put his cat claws on his hands. "Alright Mickey D. Luffy, prepare yourself." And Kuro disappeared from everyone, but Luffy. He was fading in and out of random places, but to Luffy he was basically walking. Kuro decided to strike and rushed towards Luffy, but just as he got close enough to strike, he was blown back and knocked down by an unseen force. Kuro, did you really think that would beat me?" Kuro looked back to see Luffy hadn't even lifted his head up, let alone moved. "How did you stop me? I never even saw you move." "No one has ever stopped my Shikushi," said Kuro. "I stopped it with my, and the reason you never saw me move is because I didn't," said Luffy, as he lifted his head. "Well, you won't stop me again." And Kuro faded out of sight again, and came at Luffy from his left side. He closed in on Luffy, and swung his claws forward only for them to disintegrate, as they passed through him. Luffy turned to face the man that was staring at his weapons. Goodbye Kuro. DIFUNKA3. The attack destroyed Kuro. The Black Cat Pirates saw their captain beat so easily, and grabbed the injured, and took off. Luffy turned back to his crew. "Well, our business here is done, let's get going." With that, they got back in the boat, and headed back to the Dorgan no Hanuel. After getting back on board, and introducing Usopp to everyone, Luffy was approached by Shade. "I see your trip was a success, Captain." "Yeah, and now we are heading to a restaurant called Barati for our next member. Could you please let Nami know that while I rest?" Shade nodded, and left while Luffy went into his cabin. Luffy sat down at his desk staring at the piece of paper in front of him. The end. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.